All right, let's dive right in. What exactly is an arrest? Like, can the police just arrest anyone at any time? And if it happens, what rights does an arrested person actually have under Indian law? Today we're going to unpack the concept of arrest under the Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, or as we'll be calling it today, the BNSS.
Now, you might be thinking this is just dry legal jargon, but these aren't just theoretical concepts. They're literally the bedrock of our personal liberty. Knowing the answers to these questions is absolutely essential for every single citizen, and by the end of this explainer, you'll have crystal clear answers to all of them.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover 1. The concept of arrest, 2. Rules for making arrests, 3. The procedure of arrest, 4. Rights of the arrested, and finally, 5. Power versus personal liberty. Okay, starting with Section 1, Concept of Arrest. So, interestingly enough, the term arrest actually isn't specifically defined in the BNSS itself. It originates from the French word arrêter, which simply means to stop or restrain. In everyday terms, an arrest just means taking a person into legal custody and, well, restricting their personal liberty. The whole point here is to ensure the accused actually shows up in court and to prevent them from evading justice.
But here's a really important distinction to keep in mind. Every arrest involves custody, but not every custody is an arrest. It sounds a bit like a riddle, right? Well, in the landmark case of State of Haryana versus Dinesh Kumar, the Supreme Court stepped in and clarified this exact crucial difference.
Moving on to Section 2, Rules for making arrests.
You might be wondering, who actually has the power to arrest someone? Under the BNSS, an arrest can actually be made by 3 distinct authorities. It's not just the police. It can be a police officer, sure, but also a private person or a magistrate.
Let's break down how this works for the police under Section 35. A police officer can arrest a person without a warrant in what are called cognizable offenses. Basically, if the crime is super serious, we're talking punishable by death, life imprisonment, or 7 years or more in prison, the police can go ahead and arrest without a warrant. But, and this is absolutely crucial, if the offense carries a penalty of less than 7 years, an arrest is not automatic. No way. The police literally have to record their reasons showing exactly why the arrest is necessary. They have to justify it, like saying it's to prevent further offenses, protect evidence, or make sure the person actually shows up in court.
And for those less serious cases, we have Section 36. Here, the police might just issue a notice of appearance instead of an immediate arrest. If the person cooperates with this notice, they normally shouldn't be arrested at all. This is a massive safeguard, guys. It protects everyday citizens from unnecessary and arbitrary arrests.
All right, Section 3, Procedure of Arrest. So what actually happens physically during an arrest? Well, under Section 37, there's a strict step-by-step procedure. First off, the arresting officer must wear clear, visible identification. No secret police stuff here. Second, they have to prepare a memorandum of arrest, and this document has to be physically signed by witnesses and the person being arrested. Plus, to keep everything completely transparent, the details of the arrest have to be displayed in police control rooms.
Now, the BNSS also lays out some really important special safeguards for women. Unless it's a truly exceptional circumstance, a woman should not be arrested after sunset or before sunrise without getting prior permission from a magistrate first. And whenever possible, the arrest should absolutely be made by a female police officer.
What about physical force? Well, the police are allowed to use reasonable force, but only if a person is actively resisting arrest. And handcuffs, they are strictly reserved for serious situations involving habitual offenders, terrorists, drug traffickers, or violent criminals. The courts have hit the nail on the head with this one, stating very clearly that handcuffing should never, ever become just a routine practice.
Moving right along to Section 4, Rights of the Arrested. This is probably the most empowering part of this whole explainer. The Constitution of India and the BNSS guarantees some incredibly important rights to anyone who is arrested. You need to know these. They include the right to know exactly why you're being arrested, the grounds of arrest, the right to inform a friend or relative, the right to legal counsel, the right to a medical examination, the right to be produced before a magistrate within 24 hours, that's a huge one, and finally, the right to seek bail in bailable offenses.
To back these rights up, we can look straight to the Supreme Court. In the case of Joginder Kumar versus State of Uttar Pradesh, the court held that an arrest should not just be made routinely. The police have to actually justify why locking someone up is necessary. Similarly, in Arnesh Kumar versus State of Bihar, the court issued a really strong warning against automatic arrests, especially in matrimonial disputes and minor offenses.
And that brings us to our final section,
Number 5. Power versus personal liberty.
Earlier, we mentioned private citizens can make arrests, remember? Well, a private person can actually arrest someone if that person is actively committing a serious, cognizable, and non-bailable offense right in front of them. But, and you can't skip this step, the arrested person must immediately be handed over to the police. You can't just hold them yourself. Also, a magistrate has the power to directly arrest someone if an offense happens right in their physical presence.
So, what happens if the rules are broken? If police officers violate these arrest provisions, it's a massive deal. They don't just get a slap on the wrist. They can face criminal prosecution, strict departmental action, and even civil liability. Why? Because an illegal arrest is a direct, literal violation of fundamental personal liberty.
So, let's bring it all together. Arrest is an incredibly powerful legal tool, for sure, but it simply cannot be used arbitrarily. The whole point of the BNSS and the Constitution working together is to maintain this delicate balance between state police powers and your individual liberty. Because at the end of the day, in a true democracy, your personal freedom isn't just a privilege, it's a fundamental right. So what do you think? Does the system strike the right balance? If you found this explainer helpful, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to know their rights, and subscribe for more simplified legal explainers. Thanks so much for tuning in.